I, Samji Ibrahim, being appointed the Shadow Cabinet Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, swear in the name of the Almighty God I beg your pardon. Solemnly affirm that I will at all times well and truly serve the Republic of Uganda in the capacity of a shadow cabinet minister, and that I will support and uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as by law established, and that I will, to the best of my judgment at all times when required, freely give my counsel and advice to the leader of the opposition and his or her successors in office as by law established for the good management of the public affairs of the office of the leader of opposition, and that I will not directly or indirectly reveal any matter as shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my duties and committed to my secrecy. So help me God.
You're using step aside, I want to People power, our power. I, Zake Francis, being appointed a shadow cabinet minister for presidency and security, swear in the name of the Almighty that I will at all times well and truly serve the Republic of Uganda in the capacity of a shadow cabinet minister, and that I will support and uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as by law established, and that I will, to the best of my judgment and at all times when required, freely give my counsel and advice to the leader of the opposition and his or her successor in the office as by law established for the good management of the public affairs of the office of the leader of opposition, and that I will not directly or indirectly reveal any matter as shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my duties and committed to my secrecy. So help me God.
Congratulations, Honorable Zake. I, Akelo Lucy, being appointed a shadow cabinet minister for East African Community Affairs, swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will at all times well and truly serve the Republic of Uganda in the capacity of a shadow cabinet minister, and that I will support and uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as by law established, and that I will, to the best of my judgment at all times, when required, freely give my counsel and advice to the leader of the opposition and his successors in the office as by law established for the good management of the public affairs of the office of the leader of the opposition, and that I will not directly or indirectly reveal any matter as shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my duties and committed to my secrecy. So help me God.
Congratulations, Honorable.
I, Batua Timothy Lusala, being appointed a Shadow Cabinet Minister for Health, swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will at all times well and truly serve the Republic of Uganda in the capacity of a Shadow Cabinet Minister, and that I will support and uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as by law established, and that I will, to the best of my judgment, at all times when required, freely give my counsel and advice to the leader of the opposition and his successors in office as by law established, for the good management of the public affairs of the office of the leader of the opposition, and that I will not directly or indirectly reveal any matter that shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my duties and committed to my secrecy. So help me God.
I, Chiaga Hilary Innocent, being appointed Shadow Minister for Culture and Performing Arts, swear in the name of the mighty God that I will, at all times, and truly serve the Republic of Uganda in the capacity of Shadow Minister, of Shadow Cabinet Minister, and that I will support and uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as by law established, and that I will, to the best of my judgment, at all times when required, freely give my counsel and advice to the leader of opposition and his successors in office as by law established, for the good management of the public affairs of the office of the leader of opposition, and that I will not directly or indirectly reveal any matters as shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my duties and committed to my secrecy. So help me God.
Nyakato Asnas, being appointed as Shadow Minister for Agriculture, swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will at all times and truly serve the Republic of Uganda in the capacity of a Shadow Minister, and that I will support and uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as by law established, and I will, to the best of my judgment, at all times when required, freely give my counsel and advice to the leader of the opposition and his or her successors in office as by law established, for the good management of the public affairs of the office of the leader of the opposition, and that I will not directly or indirectly reveal any matter as shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my duties and committed to my secrecy. So help me God.
Congratulations, Honorable Asnas.
Honorable members of Parliament, Director and staff of the Office of the Leader of the Opposition, distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I would like to firstly draw your attention to a pillar that is often regarded as the heartbeat of our nation, and that's the preamble of our Constitution, the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. In these few lines, we find a profound reflection of our history and poignant expression of the desired state envisioned by the framers of our country's constitution. Jurists across the world concur that if any provision can be called the pollster of the Constitution, then it is the preamble. The preamble sets the pace for not only the rule of law, but also the development agenda of our country. The preamble begins with the words, "We, the people of Uganda," recording our history, which has been characterized by political and constitutional instability. These opening words immediately acknowledge the historical context from which our nation emerged. They recognize the trials and tribulations of our past, marked by political and constitutional challenges that have shaped the very fabric of Uganda. As we reflect on our history, we understand that Uganda has experienced moments of turbulence and uncertainty. The framers of our constitution were acutely aware of the need to address and rectify the issues that have hindered the progress and stability of our nation. The preamble serves as a testament to their commitment to learning from the past and forging a new path forward. The next segment of the preamble declares, "Desiring to secure for ourselves and our posterity a stable and peaceful environment." These words articulate a clear vision for the future, a future characterized by stability and peace. This is a powerful statement of intent, reflecting the framers' aspiration to break free from the shackles and instability and create an environment where both the current and future generations can thrive. What lessons do we draw from these fundamental recitals, honorable colleagues? To me, the resilience of the people of Uganda stands as a testament to the enduring spirit in the face of adversity. For too long, our nation has grappled with heavy burdens of human rights abuses, political oppression, and economic mismanagement perpetuated by authoritarian leadership. These afflictions have cast a shadow of uncertainty over the future of our beloved country, inflicting untold suffering upon the citizens. Shamelessly, these atrocities have continued resurging over time and regimes to date. As the opposition in Parliament, we emerge as beacons of change, steadfast in our commitment to chart a new course for our country, Uganda. Our mission is clear: to champion transparency and accountability through the invocation of parliamentary and constitutional mechanisms, holding the government accountable for its actions and inactions. It is imperative that we usher in a paradigm shift in our policy framework, setting the stage for progress and prosperity. Over the next 2.5 years, our agenda is a resolute one: to combat the pervasive forces of corruption, to draw attention to the shortcomings in service delivery, and to advocate for the sanctity of the rule of law and respect for human rights. Let me re-say that. Over the next 2.5 years, our agenda is a resolute one: to combat the pervasive forces of corruption. Number 2, to draw attention to the shortcomings in service delivery, and to advocate for the sanctity of the rule of law and respect for human rights. Honorable colleagues, we lose over 10 trillion shillings annually to corruption. According to the Ministry of Health, the cost of constructing and equipping a health center is about 13 billion shillings. Now, these 10 trillion shillings can construct and equip 769 health centers annually. But sadly, all of this is stolen by thieves in our country. Those who are educated, they speak good English, they dress smartly, and appear to have the country at heart. Yet the reality is that they are thieves. You know, nowadays there's words that people use for corruption: misappropriation, squandering resources, things like misallocation, words that don't bring out the real element of what this is. These people are thieves. and it's important to call them what they are. Service delivery in our country has continued to plunge, with the citizenry not reaping the benefits of their tax money. From healthcare to education to other sectors of the economy, there's a paucity of service delivery. Health workers are poorly remunerated. No wonder they seek employment elsewhere. When Ugandans travel across the world for treatment, some of the doctors they meet in Kenya, in South Africa, in the UK, are actually Ugandan doctors. They have run away from here because we don't value them. Teachers are complaining about their salary disparities. The science teacher today earns about 4 million shillings, an arts teacher about 1 million shillings. They do the same work, sit in the same staff room, and we think it's okay. It's not okay. If we are serious about bolstering sciences, build laboratories. It doesn't make sense for you to segregatively pay science teachers a particular amount of money, but they are not equipped with what to use with the tools. Test tubes, burettes, and all this other equipment, some of them for the first time in their final examination room. But we are making a lot of noise about sciences. We need to put our money where our mouth is. Men and women in uniform live in deplorable conditions in addition to poor pay. Colleagues, the lowest ranking police officer earns about 395,000 shillings. When you go to the army, just about the same amount, 400,000 shillings. It is also similar for prisons officers. How? How do we expect them to take care of the families, take them to school, and serve the nation at the same time? When you go where they live, you shudder. Even refugees live better. And somehow, we imagine it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. It's even more problematic for folks in police who have got to mandatorily save with a circle called the Exodus Circle. They save by force. But when the time reaches for them to access their money, it is complicated. And yet they cannot speak out because disciplinary action would be taken against them. Honorable colleagues, these and other Ugandans deserve better. Let's unequivocally amplify their plight. Disregard for the rule of law and human rights violations have become commonplace under this regime. From missing persons like John Bosco Chibalama and several others like him, to those unfairly detained for lengthy durations, like Olivia Lutaya and others like her, to torture victims, all of whose only crime, colleagues, is that they don't support the current establishment. As representatives of the people, we should and we shall be their voice on these matters. They're counting on us, honorable colleagues. They're counting on you and me to be their voice. Let us not let them down. We stand in solidarity with the Ugandan citizenry voicing their grievances, including the scourge of illegal land evictions and the unlawful occupation of land. Together, let us embark on this journey towards a brighter and more meaningful tomorrow for Uganda, where justice prevails, where all rights are safeguarded, and where the promise of a better future becomes a reality. United in purpose, we shall overcome the challenges that lie ahead, forging a path towards a nation where the aspirations of its people are realized and celebrated. Colleagues, we have taken oath. Firstly, we took oath of office as members of parliament, and now, as shadow cabinet ministers, we have taken oath. I appeal to us by the mercies of God. Let's adhere to this oath. Because we have the oath we have taken is not just us paying allegiance to the Constitution of Uganda, but to the people of Uganda, who expect us to be their voice regarding the issues that are of concern to them. Let's remain steadfast. May they see themselves in us as leaders, in what we do, in what we say, in how we operate. may they not see us as part of the problem. May they see us as part of the solution. As leaders who care about them, leaders who are concerned about the quandaries that they grapple with on a daily basis. May we be their voice, that unequivocal voice. And by the way, colleagues, as we do this, we'll face numerous challenges. Numerous challenges. But they are not insurmountable. And as we keep doing what we ought to do, we'll keep triumphing over the odds that are against us. And there are many ahead of us. You know, some have already started. And in some cases, it's even in a petty form. The other day, we went for an oversight tour of the roads in Kampala, roads that are in such bad shape. Kampala generates 60% of this country's revenue. But just look at the mess in which it is. The roads are in a shambolic state. When we talk about these things, some people say we are politicking. So we said, no, we now need to go on ground and show the country what we are talking about. That is not politics, it is reality. That's why we went. And all the processes had been cleared and so on. No sooner had we gotten to the field than the parliamentary cars were withdrawn, the costers. Can you imagine how petty we can become? And someone thinks they will frustrate our work. No, they will not. And what we did on that day, we said, it's okay, now that the costers have been withdrawn, we'll hire ordinary taxis so that we keep doing the work that we have got to do. And that's how we shall keep operating. No one will stand in the way of our mandate. No one. So, we might meet many more of such challenges because in keeping the government in check, we'll do it, number one, in Parliament, on the floor of the House, and we shall be the voice of our people. And we shall speak all the English we have got to speak. Yes, we shall. But every so often we shall take Parliament to the people. We shall go out there and keep the government in check. So we'll do it both ways. On the floor of Parliament, we shall keep them in check. But we are going to continuously go out there to the field to keep them in check there. And so we are coming. We are putting everyone on notice. Everyone that thinks they will frustrate our work, you have been put on notice. We are coming. Tujja. Because that's our duty. That's our mandate. Next week we are going to Lubowa Hospital. We want to see what's there. Billions of shillings have been pumped into that place. And we don't know what's going on there. This is a hospital that should have been completed around 2019, but here we are. Every year, lots of monies are pumped there. It's our mandate to go and establish what is the taxpayers' money doing here that is pumped there every year. So we are coming. I'm told it's guarded by SFC and I don't know what. I don't care. It is our mandate given to us by the people of Uganda and by God to keep the government in check, wherever it is. So we are coming to Lubowa Hospital and elsewhere. We shall come to Akibua Stadium because the promise was made to build that stadium. Some money was dispatched. We want to find out what is going on there. We are coming. We are coming to Nambole. Over 97 billion shillings has been pumped to revamp that stadium. We want to establish what's going on there. And no one will stand in our way because we are duty bound. So anyone that does not like us being in these offices, we are not in these offices by the masses of anybody. We are in these offices courtesy of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and the people of Uganda. And so we shall be out there. We are coming where the Balalo situation is happening. Yes, we are coming as leaders of the people to establish what's going on, to interact with the people there, and to hear out their cries. So that when we are speaking in Parliament, it's not just hearsay, but we have gone to the ground, heard the people, and then we come and legislate. That's how it should be. And no one will stand in our way. So we are coming, and we'll keep encouraging colleagues. There's numerous challenges in the areas where you come from. We shall come, because that's part of our duty. And so we'll keep taking Parliament to the people, so that as we say what we have to say on the floor of Parliament, like I'm saying, it's not hearsay. So then no one will say, you guys are just politicking. Because sometimes, especially regime propagandists, they keep using that narrative. These guys are just politicking. Now we shall come on ground, so that people see what exactly is happening. Nodding syndrome. Some people have dismissed that now for a very long time. We are coming to interact with those people and establish what's going on, so that when we are talking about these things, no one says it's politicking. Many Ugandans are being evicted off their land. We are coming to those hotspot areas. Yes, we are coming. Because it's our duty. It's our mandate to keep this government in check. I appeal to the people of Uganda. Let us all work for Uganda that works for all Ugandans. Let us all work for a Uganda that works for all Ugandans. I call upon religious leaders, civil society, opinion leaders, and members of the general public. Let's not be silent as our country plunges further. It's not just the right thing for us all to do. It is our duty as citizens of this country to work towards a better country. To our colleagues in the NRM, these issues concern you too. Yes, they do. A sinking boat is detrimental to all its occupants. No one is safe when there's bad governance, when there's corruption at skyrocketing levels, when there's disregard for the rule of law, human rights violations. No one is safe. It's only a matter of time. And hopefully our colleagues in the NRM know that. And I can cite some examples. I've been citing examples over time. Because sometimes people think that they are safe in a sense. They feel they are insulated. It's only a matter of time. The Honorable Amama Mbabazi was the proponent, the biggest proponent of the Public Order Management Act until it sailed through and became law. When he fell out with the regime, he was the first victim. As he was headed to Mbale, the late Andrew Felix Kawesi arrested him and said, "Boss, you're the one who passed this law. It's what I'm using." Maybe Mbabazi did not think that day would come. It came. General Kaliechiezi Kayihura, when he was IGP, he kept saying this 48-hour rule needs to be thrown out the window, because we need to hold on to these suspects for as many days as we can as we gather evidence. When Kayihura fell out with this system, this regime, he was arrested and detained for several days. I saw Kayihura before the General Court Martial. His lawyer, Eli Karuhanga, making a case for him and saying, "My Lord Chairman of the General Court Martial, this my client has been held for more than the 48 mandatory days. Please release him to go to his family." Now that he needed that cardinal principle of the law to work for him, it was not in place because he had participated vehemently in throwing it out the window. And now he was suffering the same. Kale Kayihura did not think that day would come. It came. And so our colleagues in the NRM, don't wait for that day to come. It will come. So you might think it is okay. It is opposition supporters whose rights are being violated, who are being abducted, who are being locked up in jail for donkey's years simply because they don't support this regime, and you say it is okay. The day of reckoning will come. So let's fight for good governance, for respect for the rule of law. All of us get to benefit. And I've heard the DPP the other day was saying that this 48-hour rule needs to be revisited. DPP, why do you arrest people before you carry out investigations? That's what you should be concerned about. Tell police that, look, before you arrest anybody, make sure you have sufficient evidence, cogent evidence. Then you can arrest. But if you want to arrest people, then begin to carry out investigation. When you go to, by the way, many police posts in this country, I've been locked up in a couple of them. At CPS, there's a dungeon down there. I was locked up there for some time. You find people that have been there for months. Chira Road Police have been held there as well. Kasangati spent some days there as well, and several others. In a police cell, people that have been held there for weeks, for months. This is not right. It's not acceptable. Carry out investigations and then execute an arrest. And when you arrest, take people to court, not holding them in detention, some unknown detention facilities, safe houses. And even when you eventually take them to court, our plea to the courts of law, can you dispense justice? If the state is saying they are still gathering evidence, 3 to 4 years down the road, you're still gathering evidence. It does not exist. So we are calling on the judiciary. You're meant to dispense justice. Do not be accomplices of injustice. Give people bail as the state continues to gather evidence, if it does exist. Even better, drop the charges, dismiss the charges, because 3 to 4 years down the road, surely. And like I'm saying, this can happen to anybody. I've also heard there's been a lot of talk that for certain offenses, bail should be scrapped. There's a cardinal principle of our Constitution, Article 28(3)(a). Any suspect is innocent until proved guilty or until they have conceded to that guilt. So how do you say that for particular offenses, this one, no, don't grant them bail because this is a serious offense? Because then you are adjudging them guilty before the courts of law do that. So again, we call on our colleagues in the NRM. This is not just for us in the opposition. Of course, they do it to target us. They will trump up all manner of charges, terrorism, treachery, and all of these different things, so that they can hold us forever without bail. But even you in the NRM, you will fall out with the regime tomorrow, and it will happen to you. So let's be sober. Let's use our heads. Now, on that course, it's been a practice that has gained the normative status that we convene as the opposition to point the country to the priorities that we shall pursue. I appreciate my predecessors for setting a good pace. We commit that during our tenure, we shall continue using this platform to churn out our policy priorities and an alternative budget. In that vein, this year's theme will be building resilient communities, a human rights approach to resource allocation. It's important that we think about the people of Uganda as we allocate resources. That's important. And their rights. In a few weeks ahead, we shall unveil this, our alternative budget, and show Ugandans how our country's resources ought to be allocated from our perspective. And so this process has kicked off. Today we are pointing the country to areas that we want to lay emphasis on. And like I've said, 3 cardinal ones, among several others. We want to push back against corruption, expose it to the core, show Ugandans how much of their money is being stolen, from where and by who. We want to push back against poor service delivery. Ugandans pay taxes. They deserve services. And we'll push back against disregard for the rule of law and disrespect for human rights. Yes, we will. And like we are saying, we want to rally Ugandans to join this fight. Let's not think that this is a fight for just members of parliament. It's a fight for all of us. And as members of parliament, we commit to do our job. We commit to push back. We commit to raise our voices regarding these issues. But we are calling on religious leaders. We are calling on civil society organizations, cultural leaders, opinion leaders, all of us as the people of Uganda, Parliament alone is not going to change our country. It will not. We all saw what happened with Tojikwata Ko in the previous parliament. Our MPs put up an incredible fight. They did all they could. But the state still had its way. Where were the rest of us Ugandans? So we want to encourage Ugandans, please don't just, cheer us on. Because we are few in number, we shall do everything we have got to do, and that's a pledge I want to make on behalf of my colleagues in Parliament. We'll do everything we can. But again, we are asking Ugandans out there, please join this fight. Parliament alone will not do it. It's a very structured place. Too structured. You've got 2-3 minutes to speak. How much do you say in those 2-3 minutes? Because we are too many. And again, to say what you have got to say, you've got to catch the eye of the speaker. How many are we for that to happen? So it's a very controlled, formal place. And we'll do what we have got to do, the formalities therein. But we are asking Ugandans for this country to change, for the true change we are pursuing to happen. All of us must collectively join this fight. The purpose of this 2-day meeting is to share views, peer review, and constructively contribute to the overall priorities and the alternative budget. We are privileged to have in our midst the distinguished former leaders of the opposition and practitioners in this area from civil society, ready to share their views and experiences on the exercise we are to embark on, and to appreciate the Honorable Matthias Mpuga, former leader of the opposition, now commissioner, the Honorable Winnie Kiza, who will be joining us shortly. Mr. Julius Mukunda, EDCS back, has joined us. Thank you for honoring our invitation and for creating time. Can I request for that little book, please? Colleagues, herein we have detailed the opposition priority areas, issues that we want to focus on, issues that we want to make a big deal about. And no one will silence us. Like I've said, there's 3 cardinal issues: corruption, poor service delivery, disregard for the rule of law and human rights violations. But there are several others that we have listed therein that we shall be focusing on. Ladies and gentlemen, I now take the honor to launch the opposition priority areas 2024-2026, aimed at ensuring effective checks and balances, fostering accountability, and championing the diverse voices of our fellow citizens. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate you for committing time to this exercise for God and my country. Thank you.
Right around of the opposition will jump through this presentation and with apologies, because I received the notification rather late and I had to pick through a few things I had from the records we shared before, that I can share with the audience the perspectives from the program-based approach. But in this room, I was excited to see Julius, like we referred to him from CESPA, because we have been at this together, and I saw him on the program as one of the presenters. Of the opposition, I would like to encourage you to always encourage the ministers to be available, because where you are not, they'll be called upon to speak in your name and in your aspirations as the team leader. So very important, as alternate spokespersons of the opposition, they have these issues on their fingertips because they're not difficult to pick. But like I said, I will be very brief and take through the team these issues. They know, they have encountered them in the committees, and the challenges therein. Some of them they have brought to the attention of the House, and therefore we can share them and have a better understanding of where they take us. Principally, understanding the program-based approach. Prior to that, I did indicate that the program-based approach is an NDP3 program project. Historically, the country launched Vision 2040, and in trying to arrive at Vision 2040 and whatever they enshrined in it, it was broken down into programs. NDP to mean National Development Program. There was NDP 1, there was NDP 2, and now 3. Each of these programs, from NDP 1 to NDP 3 now, has a particular time period within which it is supposed to achieve desired development goals for the country. It is the preference of the NRM government, like they did, to undertake development programs. Ordinarily, such programs have a span of 5 years within which to be implemented and evaluated. And from the documents we have shared a priori, NDP 1 and 2 were supposed to provide the backbone or the foundation upon which other development programs will be anchored. And from what we shared and going to share today, the essence of NDP 1 and 2 was essentially to provide a foundation upon which development for the next probably 30 years will be anchored. It had an element of developing infrastructure. It had a component of identifying major growth centers and growth poles. For every economy you'll find world over, they have what they call anchor sectors or growth poles. So across the 5-year period from NDP 1, we're supposed to identify key sectors for every region, for every district, key projects, develop infrastructure, train manpower that will serve in these key sectors, and then embark on implementation. So when NDP 3 was evolved, the essence was that it is going to feed into what was achieved in NDP 1, and therefore they developed a theme, namely transformation of Uganda society from peasant to modern. I would like to ask you to just move forward. Those are, I'm talking about entities that developed. Move. Those are just foundation. They're not necessarily. Next page. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The contents. And the NPA, the National Planning Authority, developed the NDP 3 and these programs, the 20 programs, as a key government anchor of planning. And that's what they presented. Their vision is a transformed Uganda society from a peasant to a modern and prosperous country within 30 years. I don't know how many we have covered so far. The vision is a competitive middle income country by 2020. I don't know which year we are in. And an upper middle income country with per capita income of US dollars 9,500 by 2040. We're supposed to be middle income by 2020. When we failed, what did we do? We made a declaration that we actually are. So we called a press conference and said, you know what? We are now middle income. And then people were asking, what does that mean? What do you mean exactly that we are middle income? But here we have announced we are middle income. So don't worry, we are middle income now that is 2024. On paper we are. and make sure that by 2040 you have per capita of 9,500. If you don't have, then you're a sinner. But we must be there by that time. How to get there? That's what we are going to be doing. We must harness opportunities in agriculture, in tourism, in minerals, gas, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to currently present this while referring to the question you're answering. So if you're going to harness opportunities in agriculture, tourism, minerals, oil and gas, industrialization, knowledge and ICT, geographical position, and so on, question is, what is your growth pole? So what are you focusing on? You are focusing on everything and nothing. So if you look at the history of nations that have overcome poverty, they anchor their plan on a few major sectors. You cannot be on everything. You can't be everywhere. Probably some of you have gone to school of economics, have read the history of the Asian tigers. Countries like Singapore focused on human resource. Thailand, human resource. In Uganda, we own everything. We own oil and gas, we own industrialization, we own tourism, we own agriculture. We own now parish model. So we are moving. How to get there? Strengthening fundamentals, infrastructure, human capital, science and technology, engineering and innovations, security and defense. Remember, in NDP 1 and 2, we were supposed to have accomplished infrastructure and human capital. And 2 focused on micro level to create the foundation for development. We were doing roads, we were doing schools, we were investing in health if we need it. And took that. Now we are there in NDP 3. And the purpose for 3 is to improve household income. That's why we have the parish model, I'm told. We're going to create regional balancing by creating growth corridors. The country has been divided into what they call growth corridors. And for each of those corridors, there are particular projects targeted. That's the essence. Then you have the parish model. Then you have to address the silo approach. Using proprietary approach, the silo model is to preserve what the level of waste among farmers, so that value addition can be undertaken. I have that map from NPA that indicates the growth corridors. Right Honorable LOP, these documents will be circulated to the team so that each minister can understand the path of their particular ministries that government planned under this NDP 3 and the program-based approach. I want to go through that very fast that I can go on the programs. Move. A bit up. Why the program approach? All these are extracts from NPA because they are the incubators of this. They're the midwives of this program. Why they wanted this? They want to increase growth, better linkage of resources to results, increasing sequenceable programs, that the programs are disjointed, enhance synergies across sectors, increase coordination and harmonization. Because remember, we are moving away from sector-based approach to program-based approach. And the 20 programs were identified. Now, in Parliament, 3 weeks ago, I heard the Honourable Speaker instruct the chairperson for rules to study the confusion that members were reporting. That whereas government is running a program-based approach, the committees are discussing in sectors. You heard that? And then I don't know what the Honourable Abdul is going to do under the Rules Committee. For example, I know for a fact that why MPs are discussing sectors, because that's what the PFMA says. And we have not amended the PFMA. So government moved the program-based approach, but forgot to amend the key legislation, which is the Public Finance Management Act. So I'm waiting for the total report to see whether we have a law I have not read in as far as budget and management of finances is concerned. So the confusion remains. Now we are there because we are moving away from sectors to programs. But I have interacted with so many ministers and technocrats. They equally do not understand this entire program-based thing. They don't know. They said, for us, we receive the money, we know where to put it. You can take out your program thing. I was interacting with Julius earlier to find out whether the program-based approach was given an evaluation framework. You see, one of the key anchors of any program is how that program is evaluated for performance. Ever since the program-based approach was started, there is no evaluation framework for it. So there is no basis to evaluate performance. Whether it has worked or not is guesswork. Probably Julius will share with you his experience with them. But if you have a program that has no evaluation framework, then it's not a program. And I'm advised they haven't worked on it where you're just moving. In other words, you are driving a vehicle without destination. You're just driving somehow. When the fuel runs out, you stop. That's where we are, and that's how it's working. Proceed down. Down, down, down. I want to go to the programs. Yeah. Now the programs, the 20 programs, as you know them. The first one is agro-industrialization. And for this program, because of the high proportional growth rate, the bulk of our people are dependent on agriculture. So government is targeting the big percentage of our population that is in agriculture by undertaking agro-industrialization. And the approach is area-based community planning and market-focused value chain development. In your constituencies, you'll share with us what you see, whether the things are there, but that is the government approach in this area. And under this approach, agro-industrialization, you can see the targets and the areas of focus. The goal is to increase commercialization and the competitiveness of agricultural production and agro-processing. That is the goal of that program, agro-industrialization, that accommodates almost over 70% of our people. So in your sub-counties and districts, how many agro-based industries are evolving? Okay, Pitio, how many over the last 5 years have you seen emerging in your community? If they're not there, then you are a laggard in this area. Maybe you're a sinner, you cannot see them. So that is the target of government. Increase commercialization and competitiveness of agricultural production and agro-processing. We are handling the budget right now in the parliament. Do you see the budget, those who sit on the agricultural committee, do you see the budget of government focused on achieving that? So if you go to the budget, what do you see? Are those issues there? Now we are doing rationalization. See the priority crops, coffee, tea, fish, beef, dairy and maize, cotton, etc. Those are the targets. Tomorrow, we are rationalizing UCDA. Yesterday, I saw a circular. I don't know who shared it with me. I think it was a blind copy shared with me. The coffee farmers are up in, the tea farmers. Is that what you share here? Take a leave. I know this area is active with tea. The tea farmers are up in arms. Their products are rotting in the villages. And they petitioned the parliament to help. But just go back a bit on the other page, where their products. Those are the key target products. So in the budget for agriculture, look out how much has been targeted for those key priority crops. You can tell. And you should be questioning the wisdom of this program. If not see money is voted on those particular target products. In other words, you are dealing with a paper tiger. Beautiful on paper, nothing on the ground. Those are the targets. Proceed. So the objectives are well listed there. Want to see an improved post-harvest handling and storage of products. So how many storage facilities are targeted in your area? In the agricultural budget, question whether there is money voted for storage facilities and cool rooms or cold rooms in your district. Look at that. We are targeting access to agricultural financing. Look at the budget. If you go to UDB, at what rate do farmers borrow? Because the president said, you big farmers and producers go to UDB, the money is there. But what is the rate? In an economy where inflation is 8% and the bank rate is 10%, and the commercial bank rate is, development rate is 13%, probably I went to the wrong school of economics. You will collapse if you borrow at that rate. Definitely you will collapse if you did. Try that. That's why no sane person can borrow from Uganda to go farming. Unless you are bewitched or you have a problem. You cannot. You cannot. It's improbable. Proceed down. So the results targeted are there. We want to increase exports. We want to reduce the total value of imported cereals in this country. We want to increase agricultural sector growth by 3.8%. We want to increase labor productivity in the agro-industrial area value chain. We want to create more jobs. I told my colleagues some time back that for every government minister that appears for a budget, it's important for the opposition to ask them how many jobs are they going to create in a financial year. That's why I was shocked that for the last, I think, 4 years, government froze recruitment. But the economy is growing at an incremental rate. But they froze job creation. In other countries, if you can't create jobs, you are running a collapsed economy. One of the measures of growth is the number of jobs you have created per year. If you're not creating jobs, you collapsed. Because every year we span out over 1 million younger people out of college. So where are the jobs? So are these people projecting budgets that have jobs? Proceed. Sector 2 is mineral development. And we are addressing limited mineral exploitation and value addition so that we can reduce the use of rudimentary tools. Honorable Nsamba is well versed with how rudimentary. We visited the Kasanda Mineral District and we found their younger people dehumanized. We asked them, Mukolachi, what are you doing here? They said, we wake up and come here and somehow we don't know what will happen. So they are in a huge casino, in a Kasanda, gambling their lives away and not aware of what the future will bring. So this program, which is mineral development, is supposed to reduce the use of rudimentary tools, inadequate human and institutional capacity, inadequate support infrastructure in the area, into investment industries that utilize available minerals. But we all know that the mineral sector is a mafia sector. So how do you have this as a program? Yet, practically, you have crippled the sector. We have asked questions about, for example, the gold mining in Kasanda, in Uweju, in Mubende, in Karamoja, and other places. But those are our targets. Paper tiger, very beautiful. Our target, our goal is to increase commercialization and competitiveness of agricultural production. No. I think that was mixed up. Commercialization of minerals, because they are not used as competitively, supposed to substitute agriculture with mineral production and processing. Prioritized areas are iron ore. We have iron ore in Kabale area. We visit those mineral mining areas sometimes. Gold, copper, phosphates, and others. But we also here in Karamoja, do you have a colleague from Karamoja here? Truckfuls of marble are fed from Karamoja every day. Where they go and who benefits? The gods of the land, So we're there, gambling our lives away. Proceed. That's mineral development for you. And in that, the objectives are increase adoption and use of appropriate and affordable technology along the value chain. By the time the technology comes, there will be no more gold in the Kasanda. Because the way they are mining it, for example, they are real thugs. There are no roads, but they wake up every day to go and really descend on whatever is there. So are you going to put there the roads and the technology, expand mineral-based processing and marketing? We all know where this sector is going. Proceed. But that's our target. The program results are there, where we listed. We want to reduce the value of imported iron ore and steel. We want to reduce the volume and the value of imported inorganic fertilizers. For iron ore, for example, in the Chigezi area, the reports we have suggest that if we invest in that iron ore, it can last for over 50 years unexhausted, supply the entirety of Africa and even outside Africa. But we have not invested there in the iron ore in that area. Part of the problem, I think, it has to do with the energy that you need to smelt the iron ore, the raw stuff. But it's high value. Our government, not this government, should target that. You don't have to go into Mioga, Wakina, Parish mode when you have that. You will transform entire communities with an targeted investment in that area. The rest increase volume and the value of refined gold exports. We know who is exporting gold and not paying taxes. Increase copper, trade skilled manpower. Increase the value of investment in exploration. I'll tell you something. The Minister of Energy has cadastral maps that situate every mineral in this country. But they're holding on it like a nuclear button. You cannot go there and ask for it and they give it to you. Because only a few people can see it and they're deliberate. That's why you cannot talk about increasing investment in exploration. Exploration for a few, not for everyone, to competitively invest. So, colleagues on these sectors, keep a watch, and we have serious questions to ask with this information in tow. Let's get down fast. The third sector, or the third program, is tourism development. Now we are told that agriculture is our growth tool. Then you wake up, then you are told, if you don't go tourism, you are finished. So where are we? Tourism is one of our key programs. And we want to exploit our tourism potential so that we can increase Uganda's attractiveness as a preferred tourism destination. We all know what chases our tourists. The kind of things that we don't want to talk about. How many tourists are going to return when from Entebbe their first encounter is a mamba and all manner of armed men and women chasing nothing but intimidating citizens? So tourism is a major sector that we target. We want to brand Uganda. You want to brand Uganda, but what are you doing with citizens? You have inadequate tourism infrastructure, but what are your priorities? You have undeveloped and narrow product range. You have inadequate and unskilled manpower. When you are investing in LDUs, not in that kind of manpower. Proceed down. The objectives are enlisted: increasing the stock and quality of tourism infrastructure, develop a pool of skilled personnel along the tourism value chain. The target, of course, is marketing Uganda and increasing tourism attraction to Uganda. Move faster. Program areas: revenue enhancement in terms of dollars from $1.6 billion to $3 billion. Increase the contribution of tourism total employment from 6% to 10%. Increase inbound tourism revenue to that. Increase the number of international tourist arrivals to that. I was in Nairobi a week ago, and at the airport, the number of tourists entering Kenya on a single day make you rethink the nature of Uganda we are. You know? And there's a reason why they are choosing Kenya and not Uganda. Very vivid reasons. You don't have to have a PhD in tourism to know that. So, however flowery your targets are, but working differently and negative on the ground, you can't have those targets. Proceed down. The fourth program is natural resources, climate change, environment, land, and water management. Our goal is to reduce environmental degradation, reduce effects of climate change, and improve utilization of natural resources for sustainable economic growth and livelihood. So when you read that whole sentence, you ask your question: what we believe in? Are we really targeting reducing environmental degradation? Start with the simple things. We have visited and checked on the Central Forest Reserve. It's depleted. Those of us across Ruera, we're increasing rice growing in Ruera. The other day, colleagues from Acholi were decrying the depletion of, what's the forest? Is it Zoka forest? Zoka forest. Yeah. All these are well known. So we are preaching water and then drinking wine. Question is, are these targets plausible? Are they achievable? Are they within attainable range in view of our practical actions? The question and answer is beyond you. Proceed. We target, or the objectives are: we want to increase forest cover, to plant more trees, to protect the wetlands, restore the bare hills and protect mountainous areas and rangelands, and effectively reduce climate change, vulnerability, and carbon footprint. We all know what's going on in our communities. If you give the Honorable Kaya an hour to speak about this, you'll know that we are bewitched and deluded in as far as this is concerned. The program is good. The actions are different and various. So is this a kind of program you want to look at and say, it's a good program, it is doable in view of how we purpose our resources, or you work differently? Or if you want to protect natural resources, what will be your target? How do you repurpose the resources to achieve that goal? Move down. I want to move to 5 very fast. Move. 5 is human capital development. We are addressing low labor productivity, low human development, and fewer graduates due to weak foundation of human capital, lack of appropriate knowledge and skills, weak talent nurturing, high youth unemployment. Now, human capital development is one of our biggest problems. I talked to you about what the Asian Tigers did in investing in their peoples. We are mimicking them, but we are doing it in a haphazard manner. You remember the debate in Parliament at the introduction of the new O-level curriculum and how we were dismissed as being obstructist and obstructive. Now we are faced with a crisis with our curriculum. Because we are going to change the way human capital is trained, is deployed, and motivated. This must begin from the basics. Our goal is to improve labor productivity for increased competitiveness and better quality of life for all. That's slogan hearing. We are working differently. Probably we're not able to go and copy. When we copy programs, we don't copy the way they're implemented. But on paper, they look beautiful. You want to reduce high youth unemployment. What do? Do you invest in yoga if you want to reduce high-level youth unemployment? Does that work? Do you invest in the parish model so that people go and they chew the money and they thank their leaders for a vote well taken? Want to reduce poor population health and safety? The question of the day for those who are in these areas, these sectors, go and demand for a human resource plan for the country. Do we have one? Does Uganda have an HR plan and target? If you filter this. So how many doctors, specialized and general, do you want to train over the next 5 years? The debate last year in Parliament was failure of interns to be placed. And the country only needed a few billions to place them. So do you have an HR target of engineers, of teachers, of all manner of skills, so that we plan for it and then put their resources to have them? That's what the Gen Tigers did. They had a strict HR target and voted the monies to achieving it over a period of time targeted. That's our plan. That's our goal. Question what we are doing where you meet in the sectoral meetings. Proceed. To produce appropriate, knowledgeable, skilled, and ethical labor force with strong emphasis on science and technology. Whether we're doing that, heavens can tell. Proceed down. One of the things we have seen up, just a bit, is promote to improve population health, safety, and management. You cannot claim to be improving population health. People, health committee, go and question if that is part of your target in human capital development. How many health workers are targeted for recruitment this financial, next financial? If we are committed in achieving that, what are the key questions you ask? So you have this program objective in human capital development. Are you putting resources in training key skills and ensuring that those that are trained are deployed? You cannot believe that in Uganda where you have that problem, you have undeployed doctors looking for green pastures because they're not deployed. But that's our goal. Down, down. 6 is public sector transformation. We're targeting to address poor performance, low accountability for results, and unsatisfactory work ethic in the public sector. And the causes are poor accountability systems and undue focus on processes rather than results. Now that's very important. Look at 01. The leader of the opposition, you saw a circular from the chairperson of Rules and Discipline to all of us, asking us to make suggestions on amendments in the rules. If you look at the issue of poor accountability systems and undue focus on processes rather than results, we have an issue there as the opposition because we had accountability committees. I will come and suggest to you that we go and cause an amendment to introduce another committee of value for money. Those of you who have been on these committees of accountability know the problem. Over the span of the year, we can only follow accountability, but nobody follows value for money. And accountability is one thing. On paper, the Auditor General approves, yes, money was received, money was well spent, tick. That's it. Nobody has gone to check what was that money utilized for. It's there on the ground. LOP, we need a multi-purpose committee, but targeting value for money. A lot of the noise about abuse of funds because we don't follow. Somebody picks $1 billion shillings and puts up a 2-room toilet, and then is given a clean bill of health by the Auditor General. So on paper, they don't have any questions. The opinion by the Auditor General is a clean bill of health, unqualified. So say, okay, the audits are okay. So there's some work for us there as part of public sector transformation. So in a nutshell, the programs look good and smart, but we're talking about their possibility in delivering a sound system that works for everyone. Move down. Now, if you look at the program objectives, streamline government structures and institutions for efficient and effective service delivery. Now, the ongoing rationalization is anchored on that belief that government structure needs to be streamlined. And we are seeing so many entities being aligned to be taken back to their mother ministries. The big question is, are the ministries themselves functional? Give an example. We are taking back NFA to the Ministry of Water and Environment. But the report from the ministry, is the ministry functional? We were in a meeting yesterday in the Committee of Finance, and the member asked whether if you take 2 dead bodies in the mortuary, they resurrect. So you're taking you're taking a dead agency to a dead ministry. So what is the expectation? A stench of 2 dead bodies. So you have these beautiful paper tigers that will yield nothing. So we want to deepen decentralization and citizen participation in local development. Then you think about the famous Narima motion. So how do you deepen decentralization when contracts are issued by State House on that famous blue paper? And you're saying you want to deepen decentralization? Because in deepening it, you want to create greater autonomy for local governments that they can determine their destiny. But you are issuing contracts in the corridors of State House. That's where we are. Proceed down. Let's go to the next program. The next program is community mobilization and mindset change. And our goal is to empower families, communities, and citizens to embrace national values and actively participate in sustainable development. And why? Because we want to reduce the independency syndrome, a high selfish tendency leading to corruption, short-sightedness. May have glasses, I'm not short-sighted anymore. A low sense of nationalism and patriotism, a weak community development function, inability to nurture innovations. Now that sounds more rhetoric and sloganeering. So how do we empower families and communities when you have even failed to organize LOC elections? Small things that empower communities, like determining their leaders. First things first. You want to empower communities, but you're disempowering them by disabling their ability to choose who leads them at the basic village level. But anyway, that is the program. If things is doable and probable, the jury is out there for you to make the choice. Get down. And our objectives there is strengthen institutional capacity of central, local governments, non-state actors for effective mobilization of communities. But non-state actors are the civil society groups that are being hunted and haunted. Are we together? If you ask, Julius will tell you what now it means to survive other than NGO. You know? But that's our target. When you ask General Tafile, the Minister of Internal Affairs will tell you they must know there is a government. They are non-state actors. They must comply. Comply to what? To illegality? But that's where we are. Those are the targets, those are the objectives. Reduce negative cultural practices and attitudes. But of course, to do that, you must reduce the prevalence of a negative government and government actions. But go down. Those are the program results targeted in that program. They are telling us that we shall then increase media coverage of national programs. When they say national programs, media coverage increase. I think they're targeting the presidency being covered for free by all media houses by decree. Nothing more. Because media houses are not breathing. They have a knee on their necks. They're not free to communicate. Haven't you heard the opposition being thrown out of media houses by decree, by an RDC and all manner of inconsequential state actors? Let's go down. Then the other program is sustainable development of petroleum resources. We all know our goal is to attain equitable value from petroleum resources and inspire economic development in a timely and sustainable manner. Before even the first drop of oil is out, the sector is laden with corruption. The way contracts are awarded. The other day, I saw the Honorable Fortunate Rose Nantongo with a petition from her community because where the pipeline is going to pass, the community has been undervalued, their resources abused, their land taken for a song, but that is our goal. So where are the real people in these programs targeted? So this petroleum sector is turning out to be a sector of hyenas and their accomplices. Unless the opposition probably makes the next big step and halt this from happening. Otherwise, an oil curse is on the horizon. But somebody say, oil is not a curse. But we have cursed leaders, not oil. So the opposition must rise to the occasion and refocus and repurpose the way people are attracted to these particular sectors and defend especially the participation of citizens. I pity the Honorable Nsamba that had crafted the famous local content bill. I think it was targeting citizen participation in such sectors. Frustrated. You're frustrated. Don't die. You need to rethink it. You need to rethink it. That's part of what we need to deliver to our people, to grow back overbearing state and other accomplices in the state system. Move down, sir. The program are there, objectives, want to fast track sustainable production and utilization of the country's oil and gas resources, strengthen policy, legal, and the regulatory framework, as well as social capacity of oil and gas industry. But remember, the laws are not accessible. To access any document or contract of any nature in this sector is quicker to go to Mars than accessing that document. So where you have no transparency, you cannot talk about sustainability. Sustainability is an outcome of a transparency system. The oil will be depleted, but the outcomes of the oil production will not be sustainable. Down. Go down.